Thank you, Speaker. I rise to make my contribution on Making Queensland Safer Adult Crime, Adult Time Amendment Bill 2025. And I think we've heard a lot from the opposition, the Labor Party, talking about, you've got to come back and fix up a bill. Well, that is clearly not true. It was always that we would continue to improve the law in this area to make sure that it is fit for purpose to protect the people of Queensland. There is no higher order of business than ensuring that the electorate you represent is safe. There is nothing higher that the government, if you go and speak to the people on the street, and I listen to them all the time and have conversations with them, they know that under Labor, crime rose exponentially. They know what happened. We had meetings in Toowoomba where the Premier of the day, Anastasia Palaszczuk, wouldn't even come and face the crowd. I don't need an expert panel to tell me that if someone is going armed to cause fear, that they should be treated as an adult. At the point you find them in your lounge room, at the point you see them in their lounge room, in your lounge room with a machete, then I think they are past being treated as a child by the justice of this state. If they're threatening violence so that they can take your property, if they have attempted murder, an accessory after murder, assaulting a pregnant person and killing or doing grievous bodily harm or transmitting a serious disease to an unborn child. Who in their right mind would think that this is the act of an innocent juvenile? This is someone who deserves to receive the full punishment of the law. Torture, damaging an emergency vehicle when operating a motor vehicle. Now, I just want to be clear on this one. Our police service are battered and bruised by the management of the Labor government that allowed this crime crisis to spiral out of control. I will be attending the 40 for 40, who was an officer who lost their life whilst trying to protect those in my community. But if someone has stolen a car, often by breaking into a house, often by carrying a weapon, often by threatening violence, and then in that stolen car, they damage an emergency vehicle, well, surely nobody is suggesting they should be treated as a child. Endangering a police officer when driving a motor vehicle. Well, we have had police officers who have faced severe injury because of the crime crisis caused by the Labor government, and we owe them the protection of this House. And part of that is consequence for actions. And if you are endangering the police officer whilst driving that vehicle, i.e. bumping up the curb, swerving towards them, trying to intimidate them and stop them from protecting the community of Queensland, you have forfeited the right to be judged as a child. Okay, if you have raped someone, if you have attempted to commit rape, assault with intent to commit rape, sexual assault in the circumstances involving any part of the mouth or while armed in company or involving penetration. Is anybody thinking these are crimes that should be treated as child crimes? Kidnapping, kidnapping for ransom, deprivation of liberty, stealing a vehicle or a firearm for use in another indictable offence, attempted armed robbery, arson, endangering particularly property by fire, trafficking in dangerous drugs. Is there anybody who thinks that the person who has committed any of these offences deserves the protection of this House and to be treated as a child? Well, I don't. And I don't need an expert panel to tell me that those crimes should, at the discretion of the judge, be able to be punished with an adult sentence. The judge can still look at the circumstances, or the magistrate can still look at the circumstances, can still understand exactly what's happened, and can make a judgment as to what is appropriate. But what the community feels is appropriate is when the judge thinks that they were acting as an adult, they should be able to be punished as one. I am sure the relatives and friends of poor Robert Brown, a 75-year-old man in broad daylight, standing in the middle of Toowoomba, outside the biggest regional shopping centre Queensland has, after going to the shops to buy his girlfriend a Valentine's card, is assaulted and killed in our main street. Is there anybody who thinks that that is not a serious crime and that juveniles involved in that incident should be able to face penalties as an adult? Well, I, for one, do. We've had other incidences involving machetes and tomahawks and people intimidating people. We've had people threatening to small children who are terrified of being kidnapped. And all of this has gone on under the watch of this Labor mob opposite, who come in here and start saying, well, where's the evidence? Well, the evidence, every time I go out on my street corner, the evidence is there. The evidence is there, talking to my community, listening to what they are saying. They want the judgment of adult penalties for people who commit these most serious and adult crimes. And just to be clear, they talk about, you've come in, you've had to adapt this, you've had to do that. The member for Miller's going on about, we're patching up. We're not patching up. This law will consistently be adapted to be fit for purpose to ensure the people of Queensland are safe. And until such time, we will come back in here and we will bring new and improved changes to make the people of Queensland safe. And I'll quote the Dean of Harvard Law School, Roscoe Pound. Justice cannot afford the paralysis of perfectionism. It must be forged in the fire of practical reform. Practical reform. Well, let me tell you, the people of Queensland want some practical reform rather than people with machetes standing in their lounge rooms. So if the opposition think that it's okay and we should, let them out and put them out on bail after they've, broken into someone's house with a machete in their hand, if they think that's okay, well, let them vote for it. Let them stand up in the community and say, I think it's okay. I think it's, look, if someone's in your lounge room with a machete, give them the car keys, let them go. Sorry your children are wet in the bed for the next 5 years because they're absolutely terrified to go to sleep. All of that is caused by the policies of the previous Labor government. They must take responsibility for it, and to come in here and criticise us for bringing these amendments forward, and there will be more amendments until the people of Queensland feel safe in their house. There will be more. So let's not go on trying to pretend we said this would be fixed by Christmas. We said we would begin the process of unwinding 10 years of chaos and 10 years of crisis that was caused by the Labor government. That's what we said we would start unwinding by Christmas, and we have. And we will continue to do so. So I look forward to hearing from the Leader of the Opposition. I want to see him stand up and take responsibility for the thousands of crime victims that have been caused by the people who were allowed out under their watch because the laws were weakened by them. And I heard a couple of people bleating on about watch houses and inappropriate place. Well, I tried nearly 7 years ago to expose the disgrace that was the Labor government locking up children from Townsville and transferring them down into Central Station here in Brisbane and giving them Kentucky Fried Chicken and no education and isolating them from their families. I tried to expose that. They wouldn't even let me go and have a look. They wouldn't even let me go and have a look. They were so embarrassed. And well, eventually they were exposed for it. And now the hypocrites in the Labor Party come in here and start saying it's something to do with us. They've left this mess. We will fix this mess, not only by making sure we have strong laws where people who commit the most serious of crimes will be treated as adults, but making sure that we have great early intervention, making sure we have post-sentencing programs, making sure we have appropriate facilities to look after the people who have been incarcerated while we are protecting the rest of the state from the harm they would do and the victims they would cause. Those are the things that we will bring back in here. The Labor Party should be ashamed to even be standing up and trying to confuse people about what's going on here. These laws will be strong under the LNP and we will reduce crime under the LNP.
Mr. Acting Speaker.